Stay tuned for the Joan Quinn Profiles. Joan served the state of California as a member on the Arts Council and on the Film Commission. She was formerly on the Architectural Commission and fulfilled 2 terms on the Fine Arts Commission for the city of Beverly Hills. As an editor for Andy Warhol's Interview magazine, Condé Nast Publications, and the Hearst Corporation, Joan covered the world of fashion, the mysteries of food, the excitement of theater, and the international art scene. She continues to find people who are on the cutting edge of their professions. Here's Joan Agajanian Quinn.
Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome to the Joan Quinn Profiles. We're taping at the Hollywood Museum on Highland Avenue in Hollywood. And waiting to be profiled are playwright Janine Salinas Schoenberg and actor Ian Buchanan. Award-winning playwright Janine Salinas Schoenberg moved from Lima, Peru at the age of 8 and was raised in the San Francisco Bay Area. She received her MFA from USC's, my alma mater, dramatic writing program in 2007. Her work has been produced on stages throughout California, and she's been a public participant in the director's workshop at AFI.
I'm just beginning.
At the directing at the workshop at AFI, which is a fantastic school. And did you go to school in the Bay Area?
I did. I did my last 2 years of high school in the San Francisco Bay Area, and then I did my undergraduate work at UC Santa Cruz before moving to Los Angeles.
Oh, you went to, why did you come to LA?
I applied for graduate school at USC, and they had just started the dramatic writing program, which is a hybrid through the theater school and the School of Cinematic Arts.
Who teaches that program? Is it a certain?
Yeah, so playwrights Valina Hastu-Houston, Luis Alfaro, and Oliver Mayer. And then screenwriting, the screenwriting professors are Mark Shepard, Gabrielle Kelly, and many others.
Did you take classes from them?
Yes, all of them.
I see. And why did you want to be a playwright and not an actress?
I found writing very early on. I actually started writing when I was 10 years old.
Is that right? Were you keeping diaries or writing plays?
Well, I've kept diaries as long as I can remember. And then when I was 10 years old, my 5th grade teacher, Mrs. July, every day for 1 hour, she would turn on classical music, and we would just write freely.
Is that right? Mm-hmm. Did she give you a subject?
Sometimes, but usually it was really about whatever was inspiring us in the moment. And so from there, I started writing, and then I won my first essay contest, and that really sort of encouraged me to be on this specific path. And so from there, I found theater when I was in college, and then film.
And then, oh, you are writing for film. You're screenwriting too.
Correct.
Which is more difficult for you?
I think that they're both equally difficult because, you know, they're sort of like using 2 different parts of your brain.
So what is the process? Are they both, they're different in process?
Very, very different in process.
Yeah, nobody thinks about that because you think of the stage, just write it out, and the same thing, it'll work for the film.
Right. Well, and I think with the stage, you're a lot more limited as far as your visuals, so it really, your dialogue really has to land, whereas in film, not that you shouldn't have great dialogue, but you can use visuals to also tell a story. It's not just about the characters on the stage. So
you've had your plays produced. How does somebody, well, in the 5th grade, probably the school produced your play. So you had a built-in audience, right?
Right.
But how do you get your plays produced?
Well, it's really, I mean, there's 2 ways to do it. You can either self-produce, which I have not done for theater. I've done it for film. Or you have to be connected with a producer, with a company. I'm fortunate enough that my newest play is being produced through Playwrights Arena and directed by John Lawrence Rivera. And so John, they did a reading of the script and really loved it, and then he committed to producing it.
So Playwrights Arena would be the producing person. Does it have an ensemble?
No,
of actors?
Playwrights Arena does not have an ensemble.
What does it do? Just produce plays?
Yeah, they produce plays, and John as a director works throughout the country, throughout really
Yeah,
the
he's
world.
fantastic. We've had him on the show. He's great.
He is great. And so, and then Playwrights Arena produces about 2 shows a year, usually one in the spring and one in the fall.
In different venues, or they use the same?
Usually they're located at the Los Angeles Theater Center, but it obviously depends on scheduling.
And your play, which is called?
The Anatomy of Gazellas.
Where is that being produced?
That is being produced at the Atwater Village Theater.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And that's a big warehouse theater, isn't it?
It's actually being produced in one of the smaller spaces, so not the giant warehouse space. But yes, it's at that same location.
Within the?
Correct.
Is it within that?
Yeah,
complex?
it's within the complex.
It's
yes.
great because there's lots of parking and it's easy to get to.
Right, and there's always lots going on every single night, so it's pretty fabulous.
Right, right. So let's go to the director's workshop. Are you taking that so that you can direct your own plays?
It's actually not for theater; it's for film. So I'm actually not. I am not interested in directing for theater. I think that there are directors like John who are amazing at what they do, and I don't have that ability or skill set. And so in the theater, I love my role as a playwright, and that's really all I want to do. In film, I thought that I just wanted to do screenwriting, and then I directed my first short film that I had written.
You directed a film at AFI?
No, a different one that I did on my own.
Oh, you did on your own?
And then that sort of inspired me to start writing and directing, and then I got accepted into the AFI directing workshop for women, and so I'm currently a participant in that.
What I was wondering is if you could combine your film ability to the stage. Can you direct a film and include that in one of the plays you're writing?
I haven't done that yet, but that actually is something that I would like to do.
You don't do that in Anatomy of Gazellas.
No, I do
Tell
not.
us what that is. What is Gazellas?
So, well, a gazella is a hybrid creature. So it is a half woman, half gazelle, and they are victims of radiation. So they have sort of sprouted from the earth after a natural disaster has taken place. But it's a story that my protagonist, Alex, has come up with. So she loves comic books, and she sort of created this comic book world that's inhabited by these gazella creatures.
Well, how do you create that on stage?
Through video art.
So there we're back, kind of like film in a way.
That's right. So we have a wonderful video artist that's working with us, and so he has created video art to represent the sketches that this young woman are basically living in her head.
And it's at the Odyssey Theater?
It's at the Atwater Village
Theater. Oh, it's at the Atwater. I keep thinking of the Odyssey for some reason.
I do love the Odyssey, though. Great space.
We love the Odyssey, but we like the Atwater too.
Yes.
I'm sorry. But what about the costumes?
Oh, they're fantastic. Our costume designer has worked with John for a really long time, and it's it's a range because it's a group. It's a 7-person ensemble, all women.
It's all women.
It's all women.
It's so great to have a playwright write for women.
Of course.
Of course.
That's part of why I do what I do.
But isn't it?
Yeah, that's definitely part of my mission.
And are they all different ages?
They're mostly, I mean, they range in ages, but they're mostly younger actresses because the play takes place part of the time in my protagonist's mind, right? In the imaginary world she's created, right? And then in present day at a transitional house for young girls that's run by this evangelical leader. And so the majority of the characters are young teenage girls or in their early 20s.
And how did you conjure this in your mind?
It began as part of the Center Theater Group Writers Workshop 2 years ago.
Were you there?
Yeah, I was selected to be one of the 7 playwrights.
That's a fabulous
it is.
thing down at the Music Center.
Yeah, it's just fantastic, and the whole staff there is just wonderful. And so I worked on this play for about 10 months. We met once a month.
So do they critique it?
Yeah, so you bring in pages, and then the other playwrights as well as the literary managers are in the room, and you all just collectively sort of share and talk about your thoughts, your impressions, give each other notes. And
could that then transfer to a Mark Taper Theater stage?
Potentially, but it's never sort of a guarantee just because you're part of the workshop you will be produced, but you do get a lot of support from the institution. So. And
how do you move people around the stage? I know John Rivera is a great director, but there's music involved. You're married to a composer,
I am.
Adam Schoenberg, a great genius, I think.
He is. I would say so, but I'm biased. Yeah.
But how much music did he write for it?
He actually just did. We actually collaborated and we wrote a song.
Oh.
He wrote it's a hymn that they sing at the home that the young women sing. So he wrote the music and then we collaborated on the lyrics.
So it was a collaboration.
Yeah, we did it together.
Like setting yourself aside and letting him put the music in.
Well, no, he came up with the rhythm and on the instrumentation, obviously, and then he and I collaborate on the lyrics. But he does the music for pretty much all of my work, all of my films, and I let him. I mean, he has a lot of my input, but he kind of has free range to.
Where do you think this play will go?
I don't know. I hope.
Could it go on TV?
I don't know. I mean, I have been, I think the subject matter is very intriguing. So I definitely have had a few friends, writer friends, who have encouraged me to potentially turn into a pilot.
Where does that woman go? Woman Gazelle. Where does she go? What does she do?
Well, she is, so when she arrives at the home, at the transitional house for young women, she's on her way she's searching for her grandmother. And so her mother has died and she's searching for this woman, and she has this whole fantasy about who this woman is. And so this is kind of a stopping point for her. So we don't know where she ends up, actually. The play ends open-ended, so you're not quite sure where her journey continues on. But it's sort of about how the presence of this young woman changes her life and also the lives of all the other women in this house.
So when you talk about a series, it's pretty easy.
Maybe,
I mean,
yeah.
if you have it open end, it's pretty easy.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Well, we're going to look for it
Thank
somewhere
you.
else. We'll come to the, say the name again.
The Atwater Village Theater.
Atwater Village Theater.
Yes.
It's in Atwater Village, obviously. Great location.
Yes.
And thanks very much for coming
Thank
today.
you for having me.
Don't go away. We'll be right back with actor Ian Buchanan. Hi, I'm Joan Quinn, and welcome back to the Joan Quinn Profiles. And we're on location at the Hollywood Museum. I'm here with award-winning, multi-nominated actor Ian Buchanan, who was born and raised in Scotland. He studied with Lee Strasberg and Marcia Hofrecht in New York. You've seen him on The Gary Shandling Show, Twin Peaks, and I must say, there's a list of daytime soaps, so it's daunting, Ian. He's been on General Hospital, Port Charles, The Bold and the Beautiful, All My Children, Days of Our Lives. Did you ever get confused?
No, I'm back on General Hospital now, which I was there for when it was the 25th anniversary. Now I'm there for the 50th anniversary.
I can't believe it. And did you ever star in more than one at a time? Were you doing two shows at the same time?
I jumped from Bold and Beautiful to Young and the Restless, just for a little crossover with the same character. So that was.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Oh, but I can't believe it. You're the king. Are you
I
the
guess.
king? I think
Maybe
you beat Susan Lucci.
Maybe there's, not with the nominations, but certainly, I've been nominated many times. I think I've won once, but I have had other awards, which has been lovely. But I've been on a lot.
I know you have, and everyone knows you when you walk down the street because they all.
I get called by any character name, so it's fine. It's funny because I still answer to Duke in the street, and
you just
I get Greg, but the ones that were kind of mean characters. It's amazing how people still like.
They like them, don't they?
Well, they do, but they'd say like I have somebody will say to me, "I thought you were dead. I thought they killed you."
As you walk by the street.
I'm like, really? Yeah. No, usually in the market when I'm sort of like looking at an avocado or a lemon. It's like, really? No. So.
But where do you live now?
I live here in LA, in West Hollywood.
So your career started after you were a bellhop, a bartender,
Yes.
a restaurant manager.
Yes.
How did it start then after all those things?
I decided that being in Scotland and being in, I wanted to be somewhere else and be something else. So I went to Spain, which was a very good place to go. So I was in Spain for a year, and when I was in Madrid for the last 6 months of that year, I started working as a model. Somebody had asked if I would do pictures, and I did.
Some photographer just spotted you.
Yes,
Your handsome, good looks on the beach.
Sylvia Polyakov.
Oh, is that who it was?
Well, yes.
Oh, very big photographer.
She still works the photography.
Yeah.
In fact, I recently posted one of her original pictures from like 1977 on Facebook, and she was like,
She was fantastic, actually, and she discovered you, huh?
She did. It was my first big photo shoot. So I went from there to London as a model. And people said, well, why don't you become an actor? And I had a very heavy Scottish accent. And in London, then, having a Scottish accent was really not the thing to have.
No,
so I was like a little,
yeah.
My friend Ian Charleston, who was also Scottish, he had mellowed his accent a little bit. And he said, you can get rid of it. I said, I don't think so. It's just too much of a hassle. I think it's going to be too difficult for me. I was actually very kind of intimidated by it. But then the Fords brought me to America, and as soon as I got to New York,
So the Ford Model Agency took you.
Yes.
You worked for Armani.
That was while I was still in London. Yes.
Whoa, you worked for Armani in London.
While I was living in London, I go to Italy, yeah.
I see, they were bringing you back and forth?
Yeah.
So he looked for a lot of great-looking guys. I mean, you must have fit his...
I still do, which is
You still do?
amazing, yeah. Very proud of that. I still can wear my 38 rag on my...
And so, but you kind of hang out a lot with artists and designers, and because I know that was your scene in London and in New York.
Absolutely, and here too, actually. Which and I actually prefer painters and musicians and writers to actors. I'm like actors.
The actors are like your thing.
Yeah.
So once they brought you to New York and they said, why don't you become an actor? Then what did you do? You went to Strasbourg?
I was at Strasbourg, and I still had a Scottish accent. So then
You don't have it anymore?
I don't have it anymore. No, not as much. And I would go out for auditions, and people would say, well, we think he's pretty good, but we don't understand a word he's saying. So I was like, well, I was thinking that's what subtitles are for, and they said no. That's what vocal coaches. That's what vocal coaches
are for, because
that's what vocal coaches are for. So I studied with Kira Sedgwick's mother, who was like one of the best vocal coaches, and I worked with her for.
So what does she do? What does she tell you to do?
She taught me phonetics. She taught me how to break everything down phonetically. Therefore, it all becomes sound, and therefore there's no accent.
You mean when you read?
Read it all, just take it and transpose it into phonetics, and then just read it phonetically, which means there's no sound, no accent. You can do
then
Japanese.
What happens to you? Just normally talking, and you're not reading script.
It took a little while, and then I suddenly just started to have mellowed it.
Have an American accent?
Not an American. I don't think it's American.
No,
I think
it's
not.
not.
It's kind of mid-Atlantic now, I think.
So the acting started coming about.
It did. My first job was General Hospital. My first big job. I was doing.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So did you go out on a lot of calls, or did you just get so consumed at General Hospital?
Once I started there, I worked every day, and I was there for 3 years, but 3 very busy years.
And that was in New York?
That was here.
Oh, it was here?
They moved me here, yes.
Oh,
they
brought
moved me
you here?
I lived not far from here in Hollywood.
In Hollywood?
Yeah.
Oh, they brought you here. So, but you were also a part of Citizens Band, an ensemble. Am. You are?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Citizens Band is a cabaret collective. I can't remember, we're described so many ways. Very political, but very entertaining. We use kind of music and humor and great style, and NARS, the wonderful people at NARS design the makeup and everything.
Oh, yeah.
And then we have guest costume designers, and we have people who write stuff.
And do you write at all?
I don't write. I actually, I play kind of the ringmaster because of the circus atmosphere, but I do.
Is it all improv?
No, it's not improv.
Oh, it's not.
It's all scripted.
It's all
and
scripted.
I do the stuff that I do is usually stuff that was written in the Depression.
And where do they perform?
We perform. We performed here occasionally. We're in New York quite a lot. We're at the Abrams down on down in Chinatown, that wonderful old theater, the Henry Abrams Arts
yeah.
Center. It's a
Oh,
beautiful
yeah,
theater.
the art book
Yeah.
Abrams.
Yeah, we're down there. That's basically our home base in New York. But we've traveled through America, and it's good. I think they're doing a new show right now, actually, putting together a show.
Do they call you to still model?
No.
No?
But
Don't
I
you?
do so many. I do at the studio we do photo shoots almost every day. There's
But
a photo
aren't
shoot
you
every day.
like in Japan? You could sell anything. You could sell like
Well, I could.
a
I did
motorcycle.
at one time.
Didn't they? I
Yeah.
know. Did they? Yeah.
Yes.
That was a big thing for actors.
When I actually modeled, was there for 4 years.
Were you?
Yes, every winter for 4 years. I did mostly stuff for Sony, for New. I did the Sony Walkman when it first came out.
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
Do you have time to do other things? Do you have time? I mean, you're
I
doing.
don't. The schedule's schedule changes, which is unfortunate. Which is, it's not locked in until maybe 1 week before. Then it can still change.
Oh, so could you do a movie?
Yeah, I've been doing a web series called Old Dogs, New Tricks, but I had a very limited part in that, so I was able to squeeze that in. I could do a movie if I have like a 2-week break, which we get, so I could do that.
But you can. So what do you do in that 2-week spare time? What do you do?
I'm actually with a couple of theater companies here, and we do, unless there's time to do a full.
Oh, you are with a theater company?
Yeah, with the New Phoenix Theater Company. And unless there's time to do a full production, we do stage readings at the Colony, like one Sunday every month.
Oh,
we just
I
did the
see.
Line in Winter last weekend, which is very
I see.
successful.
So Citizens Band is really like a stage,
Yes,
being
it
on
is.
stage,
Yes.
actually a stage.
Yeah.
And so what's the name of the group you're with?
The New Phoenix Theater.
Oh, and
Yeah.
do they go to different venues?
Yeah, different venues. Yeah, different play, but mostly the Colony.
You've been all over the world. You've been all over the world, and you've acted all over the world. What's your favorite place to live?
Los Angeles, I've been here for so long, and it's becoming my favorite place to live because I think it's become a very interesting, exciting city. I think I found for many years when I came here, people always came here looking for something, and it seems to me now there are people actually bringing great things here, which is wonderful. It's made it a very different city and a very different experience for me. I still love New York. I still love Paris. Not so much London anymore.
No? What about going home? Scotland? Do you
That's
go
all right
back?
for a couple of days.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
You were talking about subtitles. I saw this play that was a movie from Yorkshire, and they had subtitles because you couldn't understand
Yeah.
the Yorkshire accent.
Yeah.
It was fantastic, though.
Yeah. I don't mind subtitles.
No, and
I don't mind them.
and especially if you're speaking English, but no one can understand it, so it's better to have a subtitle.
Exactly. Otherwise, you're nudging somebody next. When Trainspotting came out, I finally refused to go. I think I actually went with Luciana, and I said I can't go. I went with her. Then other people said, "Can you come?" I said, "Why? So I can translate?" No.
Yeah, exactly.
All
We
through the
need-
movie. What was that? What did they say?
I
I was
know.
like, "No, I can't. No."
But you understood it all.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Well, we understood you very well today, too.
Well, good. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Ian.
Thank you so much, John. Lovely seeing you.
And thanks for watching the Joan Quinn Profiles. Keep writing to JAQUINN1 at AOL.com. And we'll see you next time on the Joan Quinn Profiles.